Most companies think that if you can do Facebook and you send out a couple of tweets, you got it. But that's not the case, and you'll see that by the end of this presentation. The most important thing that's missing from all of these companies is having a strategy. The same way that you would do with traditional marketing. You would not just go out and print ads and run television ads and do radio. You wouldn't do that. You'd come up with a marketing strategy, a campaign. That's what social media needs to be. The other thing that's the most important, which is my newest book, it's called Fuse, Fusion Marketing, is really taking traditional, digital, and social media and completely combining them into one plan, because remember, they're just new tools to do the same thing that we've always been doing. Does that make sense? Let's talk about Twitter. Now, I call it microblogging because believe it or not, at one time there was another company that was actually a better company than Twitter, and that was Pounce. And they're now gone. Changing landscape all the time. If you want to do a Twitter-like technology for your employees, if you have a company with 650 employees, you should be using internal Twitter to communicate continuously just with your employees inside the firewall. Use a product called Yammer. So there's other companies out there besides Twitter, so I call it microblogging rather than just Twitter. Let me explain the power of Twitter. The best way I could do this is Samuel Clemens, Mark Twain, died about 100 years ago. It's almost as if he understood Twitter. In one of his letters he wrote, "I apologize for the length of my correspondence. Given more time, it would have been shorter." Think about that. What did he mean by that? What did he mean? Given more time, it would have been shorter.
It's harder to write something concise.
Yeah, concise, succinct. Right, exactly. Now, when your customers read a newsletter, how much does that cost them? Well, usually it doesn't cost them anything at all. But they do have to spend something, and what is that? Time. And isn't time, in a lot of cases, more valuable than cash itself sometimes? So they are spending something. So when you do social media, whatever you're doing, I want you to be very, very, very keen to what's in it for me, and I didn't know that. If you can remember those two things and provide good content, your customers will continue to follow you. Content is what's going to make them follow you. But back to Twitter. The thing that's cool about Twitter is you're restricted to 140 characters. But that restriction actually is an advantage. The reason it's an advantage is no matter what you put in your tweets, I can read it, comprehend it, and benefit from it, and I only spend 5 seconds. You can comprehend 140 characters in 5 seconds. If you are giving me good information about my industry, about new laws, about something that can benefit me, and I can grab it and digest it, understand it, and use it, and it only costs me 5 seconds, I love you. If you're telling me that you're playing with your kitty on the bed, if you're telling me that your plane is 10 minutes late, if you're telling me you decided to have bacon with your eggs, I hit a button called unfollow. I don't care. I'm not using it to be social. I'm using it to learn and to benefit my industry. I'm using it to communicate. So that's one way. I follow people who are going to give me good content, and I'm going to respect the people that I send tweets out to by also giving them good content, because I want that stuff retweeted. The reason I want it retweeted, it's not just about me. It's not just about my network. If I have a network of, say, 3,000 people in Twitter, how many people do you think each of those people have in their network? Like-minded people, by the way, because people follow other people because we're like-minded. So if I send out a tweet and it's got good content, I can guarantee you that I have just touched 500,000 people. Give me a traditional marketing campaign that you can touch 500,000 people with your brand 2, 3, 4 times a day and do it for free. It doesn't exist. With the economy that took place here, across the country, worldwide in 2008, social media was the best thing that ever happened to us. It still requires creativity, but the implementation is almost essentially free. So Twitter, it's about your networks, network.